What screams that person that everyone hates? Me looking through comments to see if I'm annoying. The one-upper who often invalidates others instead of supporting them. When you tell them that something bad happened they gotta complain how they have it worse than you like they're in a pain contest. Or instead of being happy for you when something good happened they gotta brag about how they have it better than you. Edit. Revised, Olympics, to contest, because it's not what I thought it was. Thank you for the replies. To the people who've shared your stories, I'm sorry you had to experience that or deal with it. Also to the people who are trying to do better, good luck. People have a problem with me because I tell it like it is. The person who turns everything into a heated argument. Like my brother, who has no idea how to formulate an argument and just ends up insulting the other person. It's annoying as hell and I'm surprised he has friends. The person who never lets anyone finish talking. Edit. Damn. I literally wrote this comment right before I left for work and am on break now and seeing this. Thank you all so much for the upvotes and awards for something I literally just thought of off the top of my head lol. I have a coworker that will cut your story off mid-sentence to one-up you with their own story that's barely even related to the topic at hand. They are so self-involved, and long-winded, that people will see him in the break room, and decide to take the elevator to one of the other break rooms on another floor. LMAO. Edit. To clarify. Most of his stories are about how awesome New Jersey, New York is and how stupid Washington staters are. After a while of being made fun of by him, I just want to scream. If you love Jersey so much, then move back to Jersey. If their entire personality is based off of one factor. So there's a guy in my class that everyone hates, which I feel bad about now. The thing with him is that when you meet him, within the first or second question he'll say something negative about you. It could be he's trying to be sarcastic but to play it safe keep to positive things on the first few sentences back and forth. People who base their entire personality around being edgy and brutally honest, when really they're just assholes. Less than plays music through phone speaker and not headphones on bus what? Edit. Thank you for the anonymous gifts. Thank you for the awards. First time resonating. Calls all mandatory meetings at 4:30 on Fridays. People who just keep talking about themselves. They talk and talk and talk, they'll ask you a question and while you're mid-answer they will cut you off and start talking about themselves. Someone who constantly needs to say, fuck the haters. In my experience, that's the person whom everyone despises. You're cute for yelling at a checkout clerk at Walmart. I mean like seriously what could they have done to you to make you that upset? Maybe you need some anger management training. Edit. This happened at the self-checkout lane so I don't know what the Walmart checkout clerk could have even done. I was in the next lane and my back was to this woman so I didn't see what happened. But this woman kept yelling at the clerk, I want to talk to your manager right now. Eventually they both walked up to the service desk together to get a manager. I felt sorry for the clerk, and the manager. Some people just seem to have a problem with everyone. He's a piece of shit. She's a bitch. He's annoying. 9 times out of 10 they are completely ignorant to the fact that the only common denominator is them. They tell literally everyone how strong they are and that if they wanted to, they could beat your ass. It annoys the piss out of me and I can't stand when people do it. A person who constantly has to make everything about them. They will always redirect with an answer about them. Wasting time in meetings so they can tell you about their BS that no one cares about or announcing how awesome they are. Yuck. People who blast their obnoxious music out loud on public transport. The people who drive through residential neighborhoods late on weeknights with their ridiculous sound systems blaring music so loud that it shakes the windows of your house. What's the most memorable comeback you've heard in your life? Was standing behind these 2 older adults and this teen girl at the gas station last year. She was on her phone and the guy snapped at her for not knowing how to live without technology, and without looking up she went, "Don't you have a pacemaker?" My friend got pantsed, underwear and all at a party. Instead of pulling his underwear and pants up, immediately, he just kept going about his business, while hanging dong. Those of us that knew him already thought it was hilarious. The people at the party that didn't know him looked really uncomfortable due to this dude having his pants and underwear around his ankles, with his wiener hanging freely. Our friend, the host said, "Dude, why don't you pull your pants up?" Pantsed guy said, "I didn't pull them down." Then took his turn in beer pong. The host then found the guy that did pull them down and made him pull our friend's pants back up. My son and his newlywed wife were poor college students living out of state. When I went to visit them I took them to the grocery store and let them fill up a couple of grocery carts that I paid for. As we were leaving the store I said, "Now, when your kids are poor married college students trying to get by, don't forget this." My new daughter-in-law piped up and said, "Oh, we won't forget. We're going to tell them to go get grandpa." Ha ha ha. I love that gal. I asked my mum out of curiosity what she would do if she found a used condom in my brother's room. Her response: "I would remind him that you can't get HIV from your own hand." For context, I live in South Africa where HIV is very common. Someone yelled out in a Walmart, "I'm not ashamed of who I am." Another voice echoed back, "That's your parents' job." A guy told a female coworker she was so ugly that the only thing she could turn on was a hose. Without missing a beat, she replied that at least when she turned something on it got wet. The guy was speechless, and I laughed till I had tears. At the Scottish Games, dude asked a performer in a kilt, "What do you wear under that skirt?" The guy did not skip a beat and said, "Your mother's lipstick." I fucking laughed and so did the guy's buddies. He was so shook. Mom and Dad were arguing. Mom: "Kiss my ass." Dad: "Mark your spot, you're all ass." My mom screaming at my brother that he's a son of a bitch, and him calmly saying back to her, "Yeah, I am." Regrettably, a second-hand telling. One of my favorite bars in Chicago, Galway Bay, has several Irish bartenders, and gets its fair share of tourists. At the earliest hint of an Irish accent, this particular tourist can't resist. "I've been to Ireland. Amazing place. What part of Ireland are you from?" Bartender: "I'm from wherever. But I've moved around a bit." Tourist: "My great-grandfather was from somewhere place unrelated to bartender's hometown. He was a farrier." "Do you know what a farrier is?" They shoe horses," a bit agitated at the dull conversation. Have you ever shoed a horse? Never shoed a horse, but I've told a donkey to fuck off once. I worked with an older gentleman who was from Chicago. He had a story or an opinion on everything and he was very proud of his smack-talking talents. The entire department was walking off to a meeting and, as it was summer and many of us were wearing shorts, somehow the topic shifted to the lack of hair on somebody's legs. Mr. Smack Talker spouted out the comment that, "Hair don't grow on dead things." All I had to do was look at his head and arch an eyebrow. He had let the fact that he was quite bald escape his memory. Young pregnant co-worker had a stranger stare disapproving at her in a restaurant, then walk up and say, "Pregnancy isn't very becoming on you." She replied, "Well, being a nosy rude bitch isn't becoming on you, but here we are. Your mom's a whore. And your dad's a customer." Funniest shit I've ever heard. I don't care if it's self-congratulatory, I'm proud of this one. Having dinner with my dad and older sister. I got straight A's in school or something, and she's doing the older sibling thing. Sister: "You may have gotten the book smarts in this family, but I got the street smarts." Me: "The corner doesn't count." Dad chokes whiles laughing. When I was working at a bartender one Halloween, I came dressed as an old Western-style bartender, complete with mustache and accent. We had the evening split up into a little costume party for kids and families in the earlier hours, and then an adults-only costume piss-up later on. One of the regulars laughed at my costume and said I looked stupid, so I told him, "You should probably come back after the kids have gone because you've come dressed as a cunt." He didn't talk to me for weeks after that. It was blissful. My brothers were fighting and one said the other had a thick skull. He responded by saying, "That's because I actually have something worth protecting." I was working on a railroad signal crew. We were behind on a project and were told that we'd have to work Saturday on an upcoming 3-day weekend. About noon that Friday, the foreman tells us that we've caught up enough that we can go now and enjoy our holiday weekend. One member of my crew was this huge angry Viking of a man. Think 6 feet 5 inches, 400 pounds. He shouted, "Yeah, I'm going to go home and surprise my girlfriend with a big dick." With absolute horror, I heard my own voice say, "That would be a surprise, since you left home this morning with a little one." Fortunately, he thought it was hilarious because he was between me and the door. Gay men make me puke. Stop deep-throating them then. Ladies, I like my vagina shaved. Then shave your vagina, Bill. My brother-in-law made a joke about paying a doctor a couple bucks to add the husband stitch. My sil said, "Too bad we couldn't afford to pay him to add the extra inches you need."